Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. The City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas will meet in a special meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, July 21st, 2026 at 4:00 p.m. I now call this meeting to order. I will now establish a quorum with a roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Lander here.
Jacobs here.
Proper here.
We have a quorum. Janet, do we have any citizens' comments? Having none, we will move forward. Number 4, new business. 4A, a discussion regarding the fiscal year 2026 and 2027 budget. Our sponsor on this will be our interim city manager, Steve Norwood.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, this is kind of our first step in the budget process for fiscal year 27. There's no decisions necessary this evening. We still got another 4 to 6 weeks before we get into that position. So this is time to provide some input to let staff go back and either vet further or do a little bit more research. But the budget that at this point is preliminary, and it's, you know, the line items are tied down pretty closely, and that, you know, that's probably a little tied down than I would prefer, because you always have things that come up throughout the year. And I always say that we're putting together a budget that is trying to project what expenses are going to be and revenues that are 12 and 14 months into the future. Just like in this fiscal year, I don't think anybody predicted or projected for fuel costs to be what they are. And so those things happen. And when you're in police and fire and public works, we go through fuel. So those are the kind of things that we have to be careful about. Sales tax is always a volatile, you know, it has peaks and valleys. And so we have to be mindful of that and cognizant of that. But this is I think, a very good start to a budget. Doesn't mean that everything's addressed. We're not at that point. There's some things that we definitely have to look at, and we're prepared to do that. And I know this council has some items that you wish to consider, but I always say and remind folks that, you know, when we're in city government and most levels of government, we don't make widgets, we don't manufacture, we don't have a new product line we can bring on. The majority of our costs are people. We provide service. So this budget, just like most cities throughout the country, is about 75–80% personnel. And when you look at it and say, well, you know, what all does that include? Well, that includes health insurance, you know, salaries, obviously, but it also includes, there's certain state mandated training that goes with that. You have to have you know, the lights on. You have to pay the electric bill. So with that, you know, those costs are all fixed. So again, we're not looking at a $5.5–6 million budget. It's much less than that, unless you want to get into, you know, a further dive down. But again, we're prepared to answer questions. Staff is well prepared. Mickey, as usual, has done a great job, and all the department heads, you know, and realize that it's not just their department, it's everybody's department. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it to you.
Steve, I appreciate that very much. At this time, now we'll adjourn down to the tables, if that's okay.
Oh, I gave you yours, right? Updated. Updated. I had to change. So, it was the, all other employees, it was at 100, and that was the wrong, it's supposed to be 52,000, not 120. That's with moving police and fire, and then just giving everyone else a 2.8% COLA.
I'll remind everybody too, these are our microphones, to speak clearly and enunciate as much as you can. And Janet assured me I'm not allowed to put my hands on them, so I'll keep my hands on them. All right, Steve, how would you like to start?
Just kind of open it up. There's, in the back of your packet, we have a sheet that's titled Included in Budget. And that's just going through kind of an overview by departments from administration, police, fire, city secretary. And that's just showing what the differences are. Most budgets are very nominally increased or even slight decreases. And we're just saying there's an increase in insurance, there's an increase in fuel costs, there's a decrease because we moved a person out of this department and put them into a different department. So it's not trying to tie everything, dollar for dollar, but it's just giving you a general sense of where we're at. Most of those budgets are very, very lean as far as either a slight increase or a slight decrease. So there's not anything standing out. Then there's also a sheet that I'm calling decision packages, and that where council can look at the different projects and items that have been submitted. And that, ranges from everything from equipment to addressing police and fire pay, along with all employee pay. And, that's a driver in every city and every industry around. So, again, we're trying to be cognizant of the fact that, the overwhelming majority of our revenue comes from sales tax. So, we're trying to be careful that we can obviously live within our means. And, but at this point, it wasn't the plan to go in through line item by line item in the departments, because again, they're pretty well tied down. But if there are areas that you have some questions, by all means, we can surely address those. If there's bigger issues that you want to bring up, now's the time to bring that up if you so desire. Or if you think about it tomorrow or next week, that's fine too, because we do have time to vet these out before we're required to approve the budget. So with that, Mickey, did I leave anything out just at a 35,000 foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every city manager does things differently, so I kind of like this way. I liked doing this. It helped me catch things that I maybe wouldn't have caught. Not everything. I didn't catch everything, but.
I like it laid out like this too, Mickey. It's very easy to understand.
Now,
You're talking about the charts and graphs that you're talking about?
yeah,
Charts,
all the explanations. I have updated these worksheets now through May. They were updated through February, but I've now updated them through May, and you'll get that in the next packet. None of the budget numbers changed, just through May.
And one of the things that I would recommend to you, and you may be doing it, I'm not that well versed on the history, but I'd always recommend that you have a kind of a goal-setting retreat in February, in that time frame. So as we start our budget in March and April and May, we've got council's kind of goals and direction that you want us to achieve, and build a budget based around your goals, because they do change. You have some 3 to 5 year goals, but you also have annual goals. But that helps staff get prepared to set the budget. So really the first step in the budget process is not like today. It's back when you start your goal setting retreat. So, and then you build your budget based on that input. So, but we still, like I said, we've got time to work in any things that are a priority to you. And
want to like talk about admin stuff and what changed or how?
I think we start, I'd like to start first on the proposed budget summary comparison. Usually you tell us, looks like a 5%, 5.21%. Is that the increase that you're, expecting in revenue for the next year? Usually you tell us, like, there's somewhere that you look to see what, fair, but not necessarily a prediction of what we think is going to happen.
So what we did with the, we're trying to be very conservative with the revenue. What we did with the sales tax is we took the 2026 amount, 2024, 2025 amount that we actually received, which was $4,389,966, and we added 2.5% to that. So we increased, it increased our budget by 5%, but it only increased in actual dollars by 2.5%. Does that make sense?
From 2 years ago.
Well, we budgeted 4.27, we brought in 4.3. And it is the 24-25 numbers. We budgeted 4.27, we bought in 4.38, so we took that number.
Are you looking at March's or April's or whatever number? Because our numbers, my number doesn't say that.
4277 is what we budgeted last year. If you look over on your revenue sheet, and I put 24-25, but it's 25-26 amount received. Turn the page.
This one, I'm sorry.
Just, do you see revenue up at the top? Amount received, $4,389,966. I added 2.5% to what we actually brought in to make it 4.4.
But when you reference that 5%, that's going budget to budget.
Not
or
actual.
Not what actual?
Budget to budget, it's 5%. Actual, it's 2.5.
Yeah, because we're not even done yet with the year end yet for this year.
Correct.
And that's what the prediction is, I'm assuming, because I know there's somewhere in there somewhere that kind of predicts what our economy is supposed to do. Because I know with our lake being down, I worry about, not getting as many people coming in. We're hoping that changes, but you just never know.
Correct.
I guess we're on the next thing for me, under this administration budget, I think that the amount of salary that we've included for the city manager is too low.
Is that the mid-range, low end?
This is what was on the website before it was recently changed. I just left it the way it was. I can go back and change it, but yes, I knew that would be a
I remember the height, I
increase.
just didn't remember what the low end of it.
I just don't want, I'm not saying that we have to spend more than what we estimated.
We need to have the
before, but I
option.
want to make sure that we don't get ourselves.
Absolutely. I knew that would be a number we changed.
Yeah, so I'd like to see that number increase again. If we get it less than that number is budgeted, that's great, but I don't want to be on the opposite end of that.
What is an idea of what you want it increased to?
We don't want to turn down any superheroes.
Right, and I don't,
So the salary and wages, like I was looking at the past of the years, the past times to here, is that more than, I know it says salary and wages, but is there anything else included in that besides salary in that top line?
That top line included Brooke. I moved Brooke out and put her in community. So that's why those are different. So this will only be city manager pay. So if you tell me what number you want me to put in there, I'll plug that in and change everything.
Well, we never know, but I don't think it should be less than,
Yeah.
Do you want it to stay under 160? Do you want it to stay under 180? Do you want it to stay under 150? Whatever you want it to stay under, I'd make that your top number.
my recommendation would just keep it what Angie was making.
and we can always,
I mean, you can go lower, you can, but I think that just from a safety, from a
Just
budget
to keep
standpoint.
a cushion there.
Yeah,
we just want to make sure that we don't, like last time when we had hired her, we were in the opposite end, right? Our budget was low and then we went high. I'd rather go high than get low.
Yeah.
I'm saying get lower, so I just want to make sure there. So what do we say on that? Oh, same as Angie's.
166.
And I noticed on a lot of these, maybe one explanation will help, but on the capital outlay, can you explain that to me?
On this department?
Well, like this one, but I think they all seem like they've changed, most of them, so I thought there had to be something changed, moved. I'm not sure if I'm following what that is.
We did a mid-year budget adjustment in March, And this, all of, this was, the 25,381 was the upgrade to the city hall. The 10,075 was the Connex box. Those numbers dropped because that was a mid-year adjustment, so those.
Okay.
items
Well,
were
it just
already
wasn't
purchased.
showing that, I guess it had, as of February, it had not been, I guess, done or
Correct.
spent or whatever, so.
On 5367 streetlights,
What, are we on admin?
yes, admin, other services, streetlights. Is that just what's down Main, or does that include?
So, at one time, Encore would not let POAs have streetlights in their own name. They had to go through the city, and POAs had to have an agreement with the city. The city pays for the streetlights, the POAs reimburse the city for the streetlights. I think that has since changed where POAs are now allowed to do that. So, Arbolado has streetlights that they pay for. Loon Bay has streetlights that they pay for. And Willowwood has streetlights. There is an issue with Willowwood. I believe their POA has gone defunct, but there are streetlights currently in Willowwood, plus the streetlights that are up and down Main and any that are on the feeder roads.
So two questions on that. I'm assuming then that there should be an income somewhere, right, that shows to offset that cost for
It's not-
Arbolado and Loon Bay?
Yes, the income is under streetlights, 4608, and we've got it in at $3,730.
So, question I have then, with a $13,000 budget, we're receiving only $3,000. That doesn't seem like their other two are paying. Is that,
They are paying.
that's so, one, is Arbolado by itself is 10,000? I mean, Willowwood by itself is 10,000, I'm sorry.
I would have to go back and look.
Those are typically areas along major thoroughfares that aren't tied to any specific
There are
association.
several that are not tied, but
And that's perfectly fine.
Willowwoods are. I don't know, I would have to get somebody from the street department to tell me exactly how many lights we have down Main Street that we pay for, down Welch or
So
down.
this isn't just from POA, so these are also streetlights that the city pays
Correct,
for.
yes. Any other questions on administration?
I don't think so. I don't think I have any.
City secretary? City,
Not a whole lot to talk about.
city treasurer?
No, just the only question, and not necessarily related to city treasurer, but the first one I highlighted. It seems like the unemployment insurance has tripled.
It went from like 0.9% to 1.8% this year.
Insurance companies, let me tell you.
That's doubled. Yeah.
What I did see was crazy though, is I think it was fire went down.
So we get, the unemployment rates come in like February. So I just received this year's rate for February. It's 1.8, so I kept it at 1.8. I'm not sure if it's going to go up or down. Municipal court. And Gracie is here if you have any questions. Municipal buildings. No,
I'm sorry.
police department.
Overtime. So it seems that we keep budgeting a lower amount than he ever gets to. I don't know. I just know, I'm not, I'm just thinking, I'm saying that loud. I look back all the way from 22 to 26 or 25, whatever, and he's never been at 60,000. So I just didn't know if that was a realistic number or why that's the number,
Well,
the number should be.
let me give you just a general comment on that, and I'll let the police, he can probably address that more specifically than I can, but whenever you have the turnover we've had, and we can say for whatever reason, whether it's pay, whether it's, what have you, just luck of the draw, but consistently we've had turnover from 2 or 3 to half a dozen or more. And whenever you have that amount of turnover, it's not an if, it's you will have significant increase in overtime. And we can play with the numbers all we want and try to do a best guess, but if you have a hostage situation or a barricaded suspect, you're going to run up overtime real quick. If you have an inordinate number of fires, you're going to run up overtime. If you have vacancies, you're going to run it up. That's just a fact. I know I don't feel that comfortable, and I know the police chief will say it much more emphatically, to have one officer out on the street. One, for our citizens who, an officer's getting tied up, and they may be tied up for 10 minutes or an hour and a half, and another call comes in, that's a problem. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. If we're at full staff, will the overtime go down? Absolutely. There's no reason why it shouldn't. But we haven't seen that in several years. It hadn't been 1 or 2 years, but it's been several. So you're going to have overtime.
Which is, yes, and I agree with that. That's why I was just.
And I'm not saying the budget amount was realistic.
That's where I was with that. If we haven't made there, and of course, hopefully we can get there, but until we do, I just wanted to make sure that if that number should be increased, to be more realistic, or if we're good with where it's at. That's fine.
And we've got an opportunity, Chief, and jump in, but, to be about 2 people down. We've got somebody else coming online here in the next week or so that has previous experience. So again, we're making, progress, but that doesn't mean somebody else is going to turn in resignation next week or the week after. But Chief, fill in any of the things that I didn't.
Yeah, like on our time sheets, every time my officers get overtime, they have to write in the comment section what that overtime is for. And we can go back and pull those, all of those are covering shifts, or they got court, or we got, 70% female, okay? So pregnancies play a role in our department on that, I've got to have somebody covering those shifts. And our standard at Gunbarrel has always been no less than 2 people on the street at a time. Okay? And that's been my standard since we've been here, because it's not safe for the officer, it's definitely not safe for our citizens. So every bit of the overtime that we have used has strictly been covering shifts, whether we've got somebody in mandatory training or whatever the case may be.
So again, I'm not complaining about the overtime. I'm just wanting to know if we should increase that number was all my ask for.
Yeah, and I think we should.
Now, the question as to what number, I don't know.
And that's something that the Chief and I can.
Why is there such a significant difference between 24-25 and then 25-26?
Well, 25-26 is only through February, so it's 6 months.
Oh, that's right. We are not done putting in those numbers. Okay.
It's at 114,700 now.
Okay.
So,
Through May, or through May? So we still
correct.
have June, July, and August.
Throwing numbers on the wall here, should we double it? I mean, what?
Well, I hear you loud and clear that we need to get a realistic number. Let me visit with the chief and Mickey, and we can come up with something we think is manageable and reasonable. Again, there's a little bit of looking at a crystal ball, but we can do that. Chief, you fine with that?
Is there any way that you can somewhat build a schedule with the number of employees you have for the year that would show how much overtime they would need if you were fully staffed for the year?
I could get close, but with the mandatory training that every officer has to go through, I could probably get close to that. It's going to be difficult figuring all of it out. You don't know who's going to end up getting pregnant, who's not going to end up getting pregnant or sick, but I can try to put something together to get close on that.
The only other issue with that is he's not fully staffed, and I don't know when the last time he was fully staffed. So we have that, that issue as well. And then right now, let me ask you, in this budget, it says current salaries. Is that including the 2 positions that are vacant?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure it was in there.
And there's 2 right this minute.
Correct.
August 1st will be 3.
So if you increase his overtime, You probably should think about decreasing his salaries because he won't need a decreased overtime and full salaries if you're talking about he's gonna have turnover. You don't want to increase his overtime double and then not take anything away because all of that money gets spent and it didn't need to be.
Right. And that's something we can also look at, that I typically don't like to do it, but, because I always want to budget every position as if it's full 12 months out of the year. Because at the end of the year, you know you're going to have a little pad in case something else comes up. But in this case, with the PD being rarely fully staffed, we could budget based on 2 vacancies throughout the year, and that frees up some additional money for overtime or whatever else.
As long as he's eligible to hire those 2 people, right? I mean, even though
Right.
it's not in the budget as salary, he's allowed to hire those 2 people.
Right.
You can see their actual salaries are, over 1 million. 22, 23, it was 850. 23, 24, it was 876. 24, 25, it was 924. So they're not spending all of that, and that is what is covering that extra overtime.
Gotcha.
Right now, it's kind of washing each other out.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not like you're going over, but at the same time, I don't want to see our officers putting in that many hours. That's a lot of time, and but yeah, we can definitely have further discussions on what Mickey is suggesting.
Why the decrease in the PPE line? We just made a big buy and we don't need the extra funds in the budget, or?
You want to sit up here? These are Keith's numbers, so.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure we're protected.
You have your budget?
That went down, what, 1,600?
Yeah.
Need to print these here.
Your PPE line item went down 1,600.
Is that where bulletproof vests and stuff come out of?
Yes.
That's because of grant funding.
Funding.
Okay, so we made a buy and you don't need the money anymore. And is that the same with the minor tools?
Your minor tools went down. Were y'all buying a bunch of stuff last year that you didn't need this year, maybe?
Says CID.
Yes, we bought some, bunch of CID stuff, bunch of evidence room stuff. Yeah, I think that 1590 had to do with us getting new shelving and stuff in the evidence room. I think that's why it went up to that, if I'm not mistaken.
Last year, we had 3,150 for first aid equipment. That came out, so that's some of that.
Yeah. And that was mandated stuff that we had to get.
Okay.
I guess the question I have, just to make sure it's in here somewhere, Keith, I didn't know you'd done your budget, but maintenance of building, the 4,500 for the evidence room has already been completed, correct? That's a third line from the bottom. So I just want to make sure that that number, the 14,654, or Mickey, because I know that y'all gotten bids on whatever.
4,900, is there something in there?
No,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that was already done, but I just want to make sure that that number 14,654 is still a good number for your building maintenance. Whatever it is that you need to,
Yeah, because that 14, if I'm not wrong, Mickey, that 14 includes those 2 items that are listed on the right, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
but you already done that, right?
No.
Oh, the evidence room, you have?
That evidence room there has to do with an audit,
Oh, okay.
okay? It's hiring a company to come in and do a full audit of they will put their hands on every piece of evidence. They go into our offense sections and match everything up, do a full audit to make make sure everything that we have is where it's supposed to be and everything. It's really kind of a mandated deal that needs to be done, you know, every few years which, once we get it done the first time, we will have somebody that's actually trained in the department, as long as they stay, to be able to handle that inventory every single year. Because with accreditation, we have to do a complete inventory every single year. Okay, this will be our one outside inventory audit where an outside company comes in and says everything is where it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be.
And then that lights and sirens, is that for the lieutenant's vehicle? Yes. It's on the road all the time?
And just to clarify, machinery, equipment, and vehicles, of course, we're not anticipating buying any vehicles, but no other machinery or equipment is necessary in that line item? Or is that just always really just autos? Usually?
Yeah, that's where vehicles and stuff
Because I know we're
go.
not planning to buy any of these.
He does have some building upgrades, that's under land and building, but
Yes.
you didn't ask for any police cars, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I just make sure there wasn't anything else.
There is an item under the decision packet that it wasn't yellow, so I didn't put it on this spreadsheet, but there is a building upgrade to administration for $22,800 that is not included in this number,
And is any of the, I haven't got that far yet, but any of this is not included in the budget yet?
except for the community center one, but that's just a $2,000 thing that can be switched around. The very top one, I'm sorry, the community center, it's $2,671. That is in these numbers, but it can be taken out.
And what is change full-time to rec specialist? So it's just, is that promoting somebody, is that what?
It is actually, so right now, the community center is budgeted for a full-time person and a part-time person. The full-time position has not been filled. We've been working with 2 part-time people and Brooke. We've moved Brooke's salary out of administration and into the community center, and then dropped it was like a rec coordinator that was at a 23. We dropped it down to a rec specialist like the girls are and put it to a 17. And that position's been budgeted for. We just dropped it down, and then it would allow her to keep both part-time people. It would cost the city $2,700 to do that, or that can be taken out and we can change those numbers.
But that's still being discussed.
Yes, yeah, well, we hadn't got that part
Yeah.
in here, but I just
Well,
want to know if anything in here was, I didn't think I seen raises in here.
You
to ask
didn't,
about that.
but I put the community center one in there because we needed some wiggle room there because there does need to be something done. We've got two part-timers and not a full-time, so I just kind of wanted to discuss it, but it can be taken out.
That's all the things I have on PD.
Is that all you have on PD? Do you have anything you'd like to say?
So I do want to hear eventually from every department head, whether we do it at the end or now or whenever, just to make sure that we have all their needs and wants and make sure we understand what they.
Building and code enforcement?
Nothing else from me?
Not yet.
You want each one to come up here?
Well, I want to talk to each one of them. I do want to hear their wants and needs, just to make sure that we have them, and that they've been expressed. So we can do it as we go, if you'd want. Shannon can come up here. And, I mean, there's not much change in his budget, it looks like. The question I guess I had is, I think we did this 25-26 year budget that also includes the amendment, the year amendment. So the 45 was, how much did we add mid-year? 20, was it? 20.
I can't remember. I changed the numbers. I can't remember.
I know, so
What does your number say?
45 was what the budgeted amount was. I think so. So I was just trying to understand where, because where we really started the year, added a mid-year because we knew we had some stuff coming up, and now we're going back down a little bit, and that's just what I'm trying to understand.
We cut it back to 20, I believe we added 25.
Yeah, and so now we're back down to 35,000 for property cleanup, and we added 5,000 for the mowing and cleanup of the property that you tear down. So do you have anything, does that number seem realistic? I mean, good for you, as many tear downs that you maybe have tagged or known of, or?
We could tear down more, but we have 8 identified now. I'm not saying that's 8 for sure tear down, but 8 identified. I mean, the homeowner may choose to tear it down themselves or pay somebody else to do it. Like some mobile home without an accessory structure is running about $500 to $5,300 a piece.
And that's disposal cost, everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then for the properties that we do not have a owner, nobody's in touch with us, we have to maintain it. We try to mow it 4 times a year each quarter. Depends on the weather. Sometimes it's hot and not growing, but they're averaging about $150 a cut is what, if we hire outside.
Is that the plan?
Well, that's what the 5,500 is budgeted for, but the street department has helped us on some of ours because we only had 500 at one time. So sometimes they're too busy and can't get there.
I'd probably, just my opinion, rather have the money there because I know there's a few properties that could be cleaned up, and I don't know what all 8 properties you're talking about, but are we able to address any of the properties that may not have a home but have a structure of some type, whether it be a shed or a lean-to or whatever, and then it's just trash on trash and garbage and maybe a lawnmower or whatever, what have you? Are we able to clean up those properties too, or is it just structures?
Well, we can clean them up, but like for
I'd rather
the demo is for
clean them up.
homes or sheds. We've done carports before at other places, but we can do stuff like that. Sheds,
Just-
outbuildings.
You know, just in case we do run out of structures, I know we probably shouldn't just take it out of the budget and not do it. I'd rather just try to keep plugging in as
I
many.
bet we don't run out of structures.
Bet you're right.
Not anytime soon.
Oh, yes, sir.
I know we had discussed at some point, or Angie had discussed with you, moving up to the 2020 code. Is there an expense related to that? No?
We're in the 2020 NEC, but when I started in 11, they had just went from the 08 to the 15, which is what we're currently in, and everything else. So some of us is a big jump. A lot of our stubs, jumping up that far, but it makes it hard for them when they work. So
But this would take everything to what, 24?
electrical would be at 23, and yes, sir, the building would be 24.
Okay.
Which electricians are supposed to wire to the most current code.
Current code.
Shannon?
Anything you want to add?
The next one is the community center.
So if we already budgeted, I'm just trying to understand, where does it, so explain to me, I guess, this 50,000. That's just moving Brooke from admin to here, is that?
That's moving Brooke out of admin to here.
That's what I was thinking.
And this additional 26,
2,000,
yes.
Whatever, for that. But so it's really not truly a $50,000 more?
No,
I mean, At
because
first it was, and I'm thinking, whoa, what are we doing here?
And that's why we did the note thing, because I wanted you to see, this came out of administration, and it decreased administration and increased this budget. The same with the community relations and events, the $10,000. I took $10,000 out of that line item in administration and moved it to this budget. So those two things were a wash.
Same for basically the health insurance too, right?
Yes, there was already health insurance budgeted, I just moved Brooks. Something that we didn't have in the budget last year was a maintenance of building line item. So we've kind of added that in for different things, and we weren't sure about electricity costs, so we kind of have a better idea on that as well.
Okay.
Right there?
Any more questions for Brooke? Community Center?
Good?
Colby?
Now, in Colby's budget, these are current salaries, currently what they're making at this moment. We did put a $10,000 increase in overtime because his overtime is going to go over 40,000. And that puts us a good 2 years into our, almost 2 years into our, we changed from a 24-hour shift to a 48-hour shift. And this is, we're kind of finally catching up and seeing those true numbers, and that's what those numbers are.
Do you understand that?
I understand the shift, but does it end up costing the city more doing that in overtime? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we had to increase the overtime by 10,000 to make it line up to where it should be.
Right, because you're saying that's because we went from a 48 to a 24?
One thing I've been doing is, prior, we would not cover any vacant shifts, and this year I have made sure that we've covered every vacant shift. Also is an impact that we're seeing too on our overtime. Or I guess since last May or March, a year ago. So we've been trying to cover every shift, make sure that there is no vacancies. In which we're at the point now that we're going to be out of money to do it.
You got a full staff?
Sir,
You have a full staff?
as far as what the city,
No, do you, yeah.
You're fully budgeted with your staff.
Well, he doesn't have any vacancies. Fire can always add more paid personnel. He only has,
vacancies, if that's what you're asking.
Correct, yes, sir.
Correct. We have a pretty good culture built in, so we don't have vacancies often.
And that's pretty common in fire.
If they would like me to. So one thing I did turn in is our number one priority is staffing.
It's on the decision package.
Now, this is in your decision packet.
I'm asking to add a deputy chief fire marshal to a position into staffing. One, you always hear me talk about our number one priority is life safety, and the second is our ISO ratings. Right now, we only have 2 guys on shift, plus myself. By the commission standards, we cannot meet 2 in, 2 out, and also NFPA to go into a structure if they're on fire. So we need that person. If we don't know that you're in there, we're not supposed to go in it. We have to wait till somebody else shows up.
Are you doing away with compensated volunteer?
I would definitely not want to, if all possible, but whatever it takes to get this position, we need to do it. Because this position will give us the 4 people that we need during the day when we don't have volunteers. Currently, we have about 5 volunteers that are able to go into a house fire, and they're never around during the day.
Explain the ISO.
So ISO is what calculates the capabilities of the city's fire department. It's got several categories. There's 105 points, 105.5 points that you can gain off of it. And it calculates everything from personnel, water supply, your equipment that you have, down to your fire code, which is a big thing that we need to address. I was talking with Mr. Norwood about it doing the next month or 2, going to the 2024 edition. Because we can only be 2 fire codes out from the newest edition to be in compliance for ISO credit. If you'll notice, I talk a lot about, we do all of our pre-plans and our inspections. Right now, we have 360 some odd fire code violations. I could give you an exact number if you need it tomorrow, but, and that's just this year that we've come across from January to now. And the list gets bigger. We're trying to get everybody in compliance, working with them. But it really needs somebody that's dedicated full-time to it, making sure the city's in compliance. especially when you're short-staffed, your fire prevention is a major, major thing. It needs to be the best it can be, because it is life safety also for the citizens. And that position with this will also help us gain those points for ISO and life safety too.
And the ISO, that affects home ownership.
So ISO is going to affect your insurance premiums.
Insurance premiums, yes.
So everybody has an insurance. If your ISO, right now we're at 2. 1 is the best, 10 is the worst. We're sitting at a 2. We're awesome. You'd have to have a lot of staffing to get us any higher than where we are, but our goal is to stay where we are. We don't want to go up. With the city growing as much as it has since we've maintained, received our 2 rating, we have to develop with the department and make sure it's growing with the city. Another thing is they recognize they've taken a lot of what's on your trucks, what your truck's capable of, ages of your trucks. At EPA 1900 is the standard for your fire apparatus. It says your first line should be 15 years old, and then after 15 it should go into reserve until it's 25 years old, and after that it's not recognized by an EPA. And if you notice, I did turn in a request for a ladder truck. Our ladder truck is 29 years old this year. A lot of issues. It's not worth the money to even try to refurbish it to get it, the issues resolved that it does have. We make sure it passes this aerial test every year for safety, and its pump test. A lot of the safety features didn't work on the truck at this point, so it's definitely the biggest priority as far as equipment-wise needing addressed with the city. You got the one 4-story hotel coming in, and you have another one we've already reviewed the plans on the other end of town coming in. You're gonna need that truck to definitely reach the top of it for your compliance.
I have a question. How much does the ESD help us with that?
So,
That was a question that another mayor brought
at
up.
ESD, like in the city limits,
Yeah. How much would
probably
they help
about
us with
3 or
that?
4 million a year. But I would recommend doing the city limits. I would only recommend doing county area. I would recommend working with the county to do a larger spread ESD to,
But will they help us as far as the
Yes.
purchase of a new truck?
so if you was to develop an ESD in our county areas, working with the county commissioner, the ESD would contract with the city. You'd have them contract with the city to provide the services to that area. Right now, we're receiving roughly around $10,000 a year from the county for fire protection into the county areas like Oak Harbor, Bonita Point.
Now, there are ESDs already in our county, correct?
There are several in our county, just
Is
not
that
in
your
our area.
question? Is the current ESDs help?
Well, yeah, any one of them, can they help us currently?
He's talking
No.
about current
Oh,
ESDs.
no.
Yeah.
Not with the way that they're
Those
structured.
ESDs are designed to cover the area their protection area.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
we do not have that.
We do not have one, no, sir.
So back to the ladder truck, that's not in our budget, right?
It is not.
So you said you know about it, well, I mean, so is that the one that costs us millions and millions of dollars, right?
So, yeah, so right now, the ladder truck, I don't have the exact numbers with the loan amount, but it was about $240-something a year, $240,000 a year, it's roughly right around 1.9 million.
Is that the one that we made the last payment on? Is that the same, was that the one?
That's an
That's the
engine.
engine.
That was our engine.
Our
So-
Quint, we paid cash for,
Yes.
and it was it was used, but it's lasted us. It worked.
Have you looked for any used one, kind of like we did last time?
So we have looked for used ones. When we got our Quint, it was, honestly, its life was used up on it. That's why it's in the shape it's in. It's served its purpose, but I'm not gonna recommend it for the city because it doesn't meet the safety standards that are out today. The ones that you could get, you're still looking at over $1 million, $1.2 million for a used truck that's within 10 years old. My concerns is why are they getting rid of it? If it has lower mileage and well-maintained. That would be my concerns looking into it. I'm not saying you couldn't find one, but that would be a concern that I would have to definitely want to, watch out for, but.
So we need to be thinking about this ladder truck in the near future.
It's like 3 years out. So whenever we decide to make a decision on yes, we're going to do a ladder truck, we got 3 years to plan for it.
So if you ordered today, the ladder truck would be done in about 2.5 years. 2 to 2.5 years is when it'd be ready to, so you order today, that's when the delivery would be.
When would payments start?
The payments would start 1 year from the date of order. The deal is, our second out engine is a 2004 model, so it has, by the NFPA standards, only 1 more year in reserve.
I think we should try to spend a week or two and see if there's any grants that are available that we could just try.
What did you say?
He was looking for grants, maybe for a fire engine.
Is there-
You won't get a grant for a ladder truck. There's not one out there that's gonna grant us.
Anything at all.
Fire
toward the-
department?
You can get, there's grants for our tanker, we got on a grant through the Texas Forestry Service. We're not eligible at this point for it, because they have to go through the entire list, get everybody that's on the list that's applied for grants filled in before we're able to roll back around to receive them. And that's only about 400-some thousand. An engine right now is about 1.1, closer to 1.1, 1.2 to put an engine in service. There's the FEMA grants. I think it'd be pretty hard to get for a basic engine, definitely nothing like what we have now, because they're not going to fund that kind of money for it, but.
Sure.
The other thing is, if you don't build the engine to the specs that we have as far as capabilities, our engine has a 1750 pump on it, because there's a water flow calculation that we have to meet for ISO ratings. And we have to make sure that we have a truck that's capable of flowing the water that we need to meet those standards. So every truck that we look at, we're either looking at a 1750 to a 2000 GPM pump on them. And
So,
those grants won't.
so the Quint is about $249 a year. How much is an engine?
An engine's gonna be about half, pretty close,
Forgive me,
So you're looking at, $1 million some change for an engine. And that's going pretty frugal on them too. I mean, there's no bells and whistles, spinny lights, or, when we priced a ladder truck, it was just basic truck with the equipment that it, requires on it. The only thing our ladder truck has on it that's usable to transfer over is the air packs. Everything else on it is as old as the truck.
We can do a little more checking on this as well.
All right, so back to your budget. So it looks like we've increased your maintenance to your building, maintenance of audio, and maintenance of your computer system. Do you have anything coming down for those items? Because there's no notes about those.
No, so, with the First Due program, we have advanced it since we went to it a year ago, which has caused us an increase on our computer side. Then the fuel, we did a little increase on it just because the fuel cost has gone up and trying to,
So is fuel under maintenance or no? Fuel's under something else,
Fuel
right?
is under us
Fuel,
plus.
motor fuel and oil, yeah. So that's up there, which I get that one. But it was just maintenance of building. It's not a big deal. I was just curious. It wasn't, it's just double.
so that's, just a normal day-to-day maintenance. We keep going over with the building.
I got you.
So it's just trying to
Make it right.
make it where that one lands on, or where we should be.
And I think it was the maintenance of the radio.
So,
It went up 75% or whatever.
That's a county contract.
So they
Correct.
went up from 2,500 to 7,500, you're saying?
well, also the radio, you have the radio repairs, the installations. We still have a lot more radios to install in trucks to the new system. Yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else?
The maintenance of auto, I know we're not all through the year yet.
So currently, right now is the time that our annual NFPA maintenance is done on our trucks.
Got it.
The EVT Tech has actually been out the last 2 weeks doing it, so you're gonna start seeing
Okay.
pretty big bills coming in to cover their annual maintenance repairs.
I was just making sure. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Street department, Mike?
Check one in. Anything for Mike?
I think so.
I don't have anything under streets. The question I do have on streets, I know it's half of 1 cent is what is dedicated to the streets. Is that what the budget is for the roads and stuff like that, or where do we see that? Oh, it's on the,
So that's in the special funds. Street sales tax is what she's talking about. The street sales tax is money that comes in every month with our regular sales tax check. Every month I take that money, I have to pay 12.5% of it to the EDC, and I pay 12.5% of it to the street sales tax fund. It's not kept in general fund because that money can roll over into itself. If you have $100,000 in there and you spend 50, that 50 rolls back into that fund. So we keep it separate from the general fund because the general fund, after September 30th, that money rolls back into the general fund to be reallocated. You can't do that with street sales tax money. That money has to be kept separate away from general fund. It's still a part of general fund. It comes in with our sales tax, but we keep it separate because it can only be used for street repairs and maintenance. So that number is a part of our budget. It's just not inside the budget numbers because we keep it separate.
Gotcha.
I do, it is 12, but I have two 12.5%. 25%.
Streets and signs, or just strictly streets?
It is for repairs and maintenance of streets, which could be, I don't know if you would consider a sign as a repair of the street, but you could consider the ditch a repair of the street, because that drainage does go with that road work.
Right. Construction of new streets?
No, you cannot build new streets with street sales tax funds.
In the capital outlay portion, that money that was budgeted that's being removed, that was for
Skid
the
steer.
skid steer? Okay. I noticed that was a large chunk of money for them. I don't
And it's,
That's
Take
what we
money away.
budgeted mid-year, right? Okay.
want to take money away from our streets.
yeah, the majority of the capital that you see taken out was our mid-year adjustments.
Okay, awesome.
It's not going to offset that entire.
no, and I don't,
It's not going to offset that entire.
no, and I don't expect it to. I'm not here to, I just wanted to see what the difference was, and I guess what page is that on the revenue budget?
It's on the revenues.
4612?
See, it's under additional revenues at the bottom of the second revenue page, 4612.
I wish I knew these.
2,229.
So we're getting 4,000 and back at board. I mean, that's just a huge difference. I just want to make sure, I mean, again, I'm not saying, but I don't want to be losing a lot of
Every
money.
time they flip that switch on at the beginning of the month to play ball, it cost us $1,300. Now, they can switch it on after that throughout the month, and we're not going to get hit every time, but
It's
just
just that
that
first-
first switch kills us.
That's what we talked about too, when Parks has spoken before, those old lights like that, I mean, that's something I know that we would really, if we had it, we would really want to upgrade, because in the long term, that's really going to help us, because, I mean, that's a big hit just to turn the lights on.
About how much would something like that run?
To do both fields, it'd be $400,000 to put LED lighting through both balls.
Is that replacing poles and everything, or
That's
just lights?
Just replacing the fixtures.
Wow. Okay.
So, but this 12,000 proposed electricity for parks, is that just the ball fields and stuff? or-
Mainly, the ball fields, the walking trail lights are all solar. There's no power to them except for solar.
It is
And then-
pavilion, it is the park
Right.
barn,
Basketball.
it's the basketball courts, it's the amphitheater,
Okay.
it's the ball
So it's a lot
fields.
more than the ball fields. So the ball fields is 1,300 for delivery, you're saying, for the first time, and then we're charged electricity, I guess, on that, on top of that,
Per
right?
kilowatt hour?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they charge when you rent it, but I'm sure it's supposed to offset some of that
I
electricity
agree, it's supposed
charge.
to, but I'm just thinking, we're already increasing it almost $9,000, and we
well-
only made 4,000 renting it out. I'm just making sure.
We're increasing it because we're using the fields. We didn't use the fields all these past years, and that's why you're seeing an increase. We've got our ball fields going again, so.
Which I'm grateful for, but I'm
Yeah.
saying is that you charge a fee for them to play, and you're saying it's 4,000 is the income that we received, yet we're spending $9,000 to light the field for them to use.
Now, I know they just paid for another season. That's not in these numbers, so that number is increasing. I just don't know what it is. It just happened this month.
The pavilion and the basketball basketball lights and everything, those are LED. We've had those changed out from metal halide to LED. We did that a few years ago, so they really don't draw it, just the ball field lights.
I just want to make sure someone's looking at that. I'm not saying what it should be or shouldn't be. I'm just thinking that someone needs to be looking at
Oh,
that.
we
that we're
definitely,
not,
yeah.
You know, spending 10,000, again, it's great, and it brings the people in, and it's more than just the ball field, right? It's more about them
Community.
shopping here and coming here and getting, I get that. But I just want to make sure that we're not killing
It's
ourselves.
just,
on the other.
I mean, we continue to look at grants, and maybe you do one field, you don't do both of them at first. Frank Vaughn's done just such a great job. Everybody that's been a part of that Parks Board in the last several years is just, I mean, that whole thing has really turned around, but we are using it more, and there's a cost of doing business like that. Those are things you can look at, and there's grant money out there. Listen, even if you got 100,000, it's better than spending 200,000 on a ball field, you know? I mean, then you start to get in an area where you can maybe manage it when you have a good year.
I think that should definitely be a long-term goal, to get the ball fields in the very least switched over to solar, if that's possible.
Yep.
And that can possibly be public enhancement,
Yeah.
because we are enhancing it to decrease our costs, so.
If you can look, someone can look at getting a price on that or something that we
Yeah.
can live with. Like I said, even if we do one at a time.
I think would be wise if we spend any money from that public enhancement to try to get a grant. Sorry, am I not speaking loud enough? I think we should probably try to get a grant if we spend any public enhancement funds. I know that grants take a while, so if we get an opportunity for a deal on something, we shouldn't hold up on it, but
Oh, absolutely.
that's just my take.
Y'all were talking about the street lights earlier, okay? I've been looking into a solar company, solar street lighting, okay? Been getting quotes from them, and I have packages, I just haven't been able to download them all. But I was gonna send to everyone on using maybe some of the community enhancement money for street lights on the main arterial. And do the whole neighborhood. That costs $1 million.
Yeah, that's great.
That'd be awesome.
Mike, is there anything that you need or want, or anything for parks or streets?
I would like to up my maintenance of heavy equipment. And you'll see, I think it's,
Is that in parks or streets?
that's the street department. 5355. I don't really want to buy a new piece of equipment. I do need a new dump truck, but we're using one that's 20 years old, and I got another one that's 10 years old. But the 20-year-old, we've been making it work. It works for us around town and things like some of this older equipment that we have, buying parts that are breaking down and things like that. We're trying to maintain them ourselves instead of sending them out, because we send this big equipment to a dealer, it's a lot of money.
You're doing a great job.
Right, so you said that was under your maintenance of heavy equipment, and it looks like it was increased, 3,000. Do you feel that that's enough, or do you think you're thinking maybe a little more?
Well, that 3,000 I used to try to get another bucket for the skid steer that we have. I mean, a trailer, I'm sorry, a trailer to pull our new skid steer.
So that 3,000 there under maintenance of heavy equipment, your intent is to purchase a trailer, is what you're saying?
No, we've already got one.
Right.
I bought one too.
That's in this year's budget. We're talking about 2020, next year's budget.
I would like to keep that 3,000 if I could.
That's my understanding, is it's still, they did keep it in there.
He's just,
so-
he's telling you what he increased in his budget. He
I'm
increased
asking
it.
if you need anything else. You know what I'm saying, when I asked if you need anything, so do you need, is that enough? I guess what I'm trying to say, keep that 3,000, that puts you there at the 18,000 on the maintenance of heavy equipment, is that?
I would love to have $20,000 in my maintenance of heavy.
Anything else?
And parks,
Mm-hmm.
I got some 16-year-old lawnmowers that are breaking down on there. I had to buy drive motors for the wheels and things like that, and those were expensive, except I shopped around. They wanted them in town for $1,000 a piece. I found them for $300 shipped from out of state, so we repaired those, but they're still breaking down on me, and I've been getting quotes on a couple of new lawnmowers that are around $8,000 a piece.
And you need two?
I'd like to have two for the park department.
Did you put those in here?
No, I didn't.
Did you give them to me?
No, I haven't. Actually got 'em here.
That's just, yeah.
We can look at that.
Yeah, these are just ones, I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's just my lawnmower.
I understand that, I just like to hear it from the department head of what their wants or needs, so I appreciate that.
It was a tractor?
Two lawnmowers, 8,000 each.
So that would go under the 5480, machinery, equipment, and vehicles?
Or you want me to put that in there now, or, no, okay.
Conversation.
Conversation.
But yes, that would be where it would go, that's what we decided.
I did notice in streets a bit of a decrease in salaries and wages. What's that for?
I assume we had a long-term employee retire, so it could be a difference in salary, would that maybe be one? I mean, I'm assuming we still have the same number of
We
people.
actually had two,
It's the turnover.
David and Les.
It's the turnover. I put it on your list. We lost Les. He had been here almost 30 years. And we lost David out of the Parks Department. You'll see a decrease there as well.
Yeah, long time.
Getting ready to lose another full-timer in the park department. He's going to be making resignation in 2 weeks, so I'll be needing another full-time employee. However, I've been talking to my lead man Casey, my supervisor Casey, with the park. We may move a part-timer up to full-time and hire another part-time. Yes.
Just like with the city manager, instead of taking it out of the budget, why don't we just account for it to be in there for when we do hire somebody back?
Well, because we're
Because
not,
they have worked here for so long that their salary would be
we
higher.
didn't lose a position, and the people that you're hiring are not gonna hire at that high rate, that
Same
raises
salary.
that they got
That's
over
just the
the.
difference of the salary from a veteran employee to a new hire.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, it's a lot
A
of.
couple of them.
It's okay.
A couple of veterans, veterans.
One had 30 years, one had 20 years.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service.
And I did have an increase in clothing, because I'm going to have to buy winter jackets and winter clothes for all the employees, for both departments, so.
Yeah.
The increase in the maintenance of shop equipment, we have on the list here. We need that for new saw blades. Things like that on saw, when we have the storm. We've been recently using a lot of saw blades on all these trees that have fallen.
Yeah, Yeah, but it looks like you lowered your maintenance, your building maintenance, maintenance of building and maintenance of street signs. Offset
Did that
those.
last year, last year's budget.
Except this one, the lawnmower's one.
Quite a few things.
He's just letting them know.
Okay.
I asked.
Hey, Mickey, for the memorial tree program, is that number right? Just comparing it from the other one.
I need to make these bigger.
I'm saying, it looks like we had 10.
Hush, Keith, hush, Keith.
Well, I think this one was actually uniquely small than all the others.
So, good catch. The memorial tree program should be 1,000.
That's correct, that's what it's showing.
There's one mower.
And the park board expense should be 10,000.
Okay,
Those two are switched.
got it. I see.
So much.
No, we do not need a good 10,000 in memorial trees.
I love trees, but that's a lot of trees. I'm good.
Anything, thank you.
Anything else?
Thanks, Mike.
Good. Thank you, sir.
And animal control,
Got no questions there.
none.
Do you have, only thing I'd say is, I know last time, it seems like I think we added some extra money into the fund for the animal service. Just wasn't sure if we were using that through February. Doesn't appear to be, but just wasn't sure where we are now.
Through May, are you looking at animal services?
Yes.
We're at 34,865. We're at 58%, right, kind of right on track.
We only have 3 months left, so. Because last time I think we,
June, July, August, September.
oh, June, because you're May,
This
that's
is
right, through May.
I gotta do this. Yes, I count on my fingers, I can't help it.
I have no questions on that.
And then
That's the amount that we spend to the Humane Society.
Some of it is to the majority of it is to the Humane Society, and I believe there may be a little bit in there, like if she has to take, a dog got ran over and it's got to go to the vet or some kind of vet issue, we've got a little bit of spending money in there. And debt service, we paid off the engine, so our debt service dropped, and then we just have a city hall payment. And then our special funds. And we don't have it in here, but under, do I even have streets? Under the streets, we'll build a budget for streets. We'll build a budget for hotel motel. We'll build a budget for capital improvement. We'll build a budget for festival. We just haven't worked those numbers yet.
Did I see somewhere, I guess it's a Keith question, like coffee with cops? Did I see somewhere like coffee with cops?
Yeah, it's gonna be under our special fund.
That's pretty cool.
Community events.
So I'm going to ask Keith to come back, because I didn't get to ask him and a few others. Like when we went through his, if there was anything anything you want to say about your budget, anything you need to add, or questions I didn't get to ask. I didn't ask you, I didn't feel like I asked everybody that.
The only other stuff that I was asking for that's not actually listed on there is, a part of the upgrades to the building, $16,340, that's to remove all of the old wainscot that's painted different colors and pieces missing.
Say that number again?
$16,340.
And that's to remove what?
All the wainscot, the half board that goes up the wall, old paneling, half of it's painted, half of it's not painted, parts of it falling off, texture, all of that.
It's in there,
Repaint the walls, like repaint all the doors that are in there, half the doors are painted, half of them aren't painted.
That's not in here anywhere.
Is that this 22,800?
Yes.
It's on this list. It's on
It's okay.
the decision list. I was fixing to add it. It's on the decision list.
That's part of this 49,744.
It's on the
It's a-
second page.
Second page under equipment, police department,
Gotcha.
building
Okay.
upgrade
Gotcha.
administration.
Okay.
That includes all of the rest of what I didn't get done last year, as far as inside hallways, doors, bathrooms, being painted, everything's painted the same color, doing away with the wainscoting and the retexture and everything, getting all the doors painted the same color. Then 6,460 of that is the front lobby.
What is under land and building in the capital outlay, the 21,802? That says floors, cabinets, and server room. Right, so that still needs to be done?
The floor, that is all related to the jail, the changing area, the booking area, and the sally port.
Right, but but you need that still too?
Yes.
And then plus this?
Yes, ma'am. The only other thing that is not in that is the electrical, which I forgot to put in there. That's $4,200. That has to do with putting a new circuit in for a microwave and a freezer in the booking area to where all the jail food, everything is back in the jail instead of on the other side of the building where they gotta go and get it and cook it and take it back. That moves everything back centrally located into the jail where it should be.
Which is for the jail, for the inmates? Is that food for the inmates?
Yes. And that also includes replacing all of the switches throughout our building and the offices and the storage rooms and the bathrooms with motion switches. Because I can come up there at 4 o'clock in the morning and every light in our building's on and there's one person in there. So that way they automatically can save us some money in electricity. What else was it? Oh, and half of our lights throughout the building have been replaced with the LED can lights. That also includes finishing replacing all of those, getting rid of the old ballast big lights that don't work 90% of the time. And that's everything that I've asked for. So.
Thank you, sir.
That's all I got this year. We'll be talking vehicles next year.
As far as animal control goes, we brought it up before and talked about it. Still interested in hiring another part-time person. I don't know how that would affect.
Yeah, well, we're talking about animal
Animal
control.
control.
She would like a part-time person, or she said, she's just bringing up the fact that I'm just looking at you because I want you to tell us if we need a part-time
Bring it up every year.
for animal control, to add an additional person. Do we need to add an additional person for animal control?
The calls for service, no, I don't feel justifies that. I mean, last month we impounded $3.
Just 3, okay.
Little over 200 miles were put on the truck last month. So I don't think we have the numbers to justify another part-time position.
And if there's, that's a stupid question. I was gonna ask if there's places in the county, do we go there? Obviously not.
We don't answer animal calls in the county at all.
Right.
Thank you. Talk to, would you miss,
Gracie?
Judge? Yes, thank you. Judge? We kind of flew through years, and much change there. Just didn't know if you had any needs, wants, issues, concerns.
It's just listed in the decision package, personnel.
Okay. Those two things.
Did some research, and then also Julie made level 1 certified court clerk, so I just wanted to kind of move her up to, oh, okay, sorry. Julie made level 1 certified court clerk, and so I just wanted to move her up in that to the next step.
Just a step up.
Thank you, ma'am.
We brought up before, and then just kind of pushed it back. I've been in my position for 10 years, and I've been here almost 20 years.
So you say in your position now as a judge, you've been doing that for
Yes.
10 years, but you worked for the city for 20, is what you're saying?
Yes. And most of my other stuff is in the special funds, technology,
On the back page.
Back up.
and court security.
I think that page numbers.
Supposed to have it all memorized.
I think I've looked at this enough, they're all running together.
Your eyes start crossing, yeah?
I had 3 of these going last week.
I couldn't do your job.
I'm still seeing numbers. I mean, it's like, we basically started completely over, so I just started completely over.
Yeah, I don't know. It was over here somewhere. It's too many papers.
So the police department is requesting to switch to a different software program, which would be more efficient, and our company is able to work with that. We're wanting, essentially, it's not ticket writers, it's like, I mean, it is like a ticket writer, but they're phones, and so that's what the court is able to produce or pay for through the technology fund. And so that's what I'm requesting or using for out of technology, the building security fund. It's a contract for our gates, just make sure they're up to par, they're checking on them, go down, and it cost us some money because we weren't out there, that we didn't have anybody out there routinely checking that. Pretty much it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Y'all have any questions? Thank you.
Just one, we've kind of gone through a lot of the decision packages as we've gone through their budgets, but the one thing that, and I don't think we're prepared to make a hard recommendation, but the police and fire pay and all employee pay is going to be a big issue. And, we've got a limited amount of money after we built this budget, a couple $100,000. When you start getting into pay, it does get expensive. And, I've kind of always had the attitude, to just take care of what we got before we start adding too much. That doesn't always work. It doesn't fit in a neat little box, but it's more of a philosophy than anything. But the pay is a factor. There's no doubt. We need to do a little more work, I guess you could say, on some of our comparison cities. We know we can't pay, what Dallas cities are being paid. That's not the point of it at all. But we do need to look at, the Kaufman and Ennis and some of those.
Cities nearby.
Cities nearby, but at the end of the day, you've got, police officers in the Metroplex starting off at 90 to 100,000 a year. We know we can't go there, and none of the chiefs are even saying that's where we need to go, but we have to address that. And I think if you don't, you're going to continue to see high turnover. And what's happening, and it's no different than a lot of other cities, they come here, we put them through the academy, we get them out on the street after, if they don't have any experience, which a lot of them, it's about 16 weeks with the field training officer. We let them out, they get a year, year and a half, 2 years if we're lucky, and they're gone. And the academy and having them with an FTO officer is not cheap. And the chief showed me some numbers last week about the number of officers that have left within 2 years. It's staggering.
It is.
Is pay the only issue? Of course not. But there's some people that come out, they spend a month and say, this ain't for me. you know, that happens, but, you know, our officers start at, what, 52,000 a year? That's tough.
I think that's why we have always talked about, a lot of what we have to do is we have to sell to a quality of life, right? And at the same time, you know, I think something that I know this council's asked for, if I'm speaking out of turn, you guys speak up, but like a salary study. So we kind of knew what we were up against, you know, budget-wise, and what the comparable. And again, Steve, you and I have had this conversation. It's hard for us to compare this apple because we don't have an ad valorem, right? So we're really kind of, there's not many comparisons out there for us. But at the same time, to be able to do what we can for everyone, and I think we know how much, especially our first responders and our staff, mean to this community. I mean, if we've learned nothing in the last several weeks, I think you know what first responders and staff and what it means. So I think a study like that helps us too when we're looking at stuff. So we're not asking for crazy things either, but we're within reason. But that's always going to be our challenge, right? And that's always going to be the noise that you hear from the outside, and that's fine. But we know what we have with the people that we have, and we want to retain them. And that's how you keep a guy like a Les or a David for that long. Look how long Gracie's been here. I mean, you want to keep quality people like that. Mickey's been here for
50 years.
You older than the building?
I'm almost older than the building. Yes, I'm way older than the building.
But all that, you know, we're not talking about making this huge jump in 1 year. We didn't get this way overnight. We're not going to dig our way out of it overnight either. So, but I think we need to come up with a plan that's a 3 to 4 year plan so that officers, firefighters, all employees see that there's a plan.
Yeah.
We all understand things happen. But if we have a plan that we can start moving folks toward and across a plan, and we just need to go back to the drawing board and come up with something that moves the needle, is reasonable, and is affordable.
And didn't you just completed a salary study, correct?
So I started out looking at gov salaries, and that was working for me. I'm chugging along. Well, then it started getting to where I could look up a city manager pay, and it gave me a dollar amount, but it didn't say how long that person had been there, why they were making that much money. So I had to kind of start over and start contacting cities. I got cities to send me their pay scales, quite a few, and all of that is in a folder. I gave Steve access to that today. So we have a lot of information. I think it was just kind of, we need to spend more time on it than we've spent on it.
So you're going to compile all of that?
We need to really like dig in and start looking at it.
So here, I think you have raises, you said that are equivalent to 2.8% COLA, correct?
So-
On this personnel decision?
So I'll just go over the court. The first one is the court, and that is moving the court clerk. She's now a level 1. That's moving her to a level 1. Gracie is wanting an adjustment in her pay. She is, I believe, a C, and she's been here 10 years. The police officers, if we adjust the police officers just based on the numbers we put together, if we move police and dispatchers, I believe up a scale, that's a total of $49,744 additional just to get them in line. And then if,
But when we say get those in line, we need to take a hard look at what's the definition
Yes.
of getting them in line. It may be a definition that's just not practical or reasonable, so we need to, again, take a hard look.
so like moving them up one scale, up, I believe it's up 1 would be a total of $49,000, and I don't know that that's exactly correct, like he's saying.
You don't know if 49,000 is correct, moving them up one scale, or you don't know moving them up one scale is correct?
I don't know if moving them up, I don't know that we looked at those numbers hard enough to make sure that's where they should be. I think we need to go back and really look at everything, not just police, fire, look at, because there were some highlights on that page of park personnel being, that should be making more, but we didn't even discuss that. So I really think we need to go back and look at those numbers with a new set of eyes and a clean head to go in and just totally look at everything.
And some of this is easy when you have like the judge, or you have a city secretary, or you have a treasurer. There's only one person in that role. But when you get into police and fire, because what ends up happening, and I've seen it many, many times, well, we can't hire any police officers, so let's move them from 50 to 58,000. That sounds like a great idea, but then you start creating compression. All of a sudden, you have these officers that are brand new making the same as somebody that's been here 4 or 5 years. And then that impacts sergeants, then that impacts lieutenant. So
And that's
it
where we're
does,
at.
it starts domino as far as your expense impact.
And when you spoke of officers earlier, were you only talking about patrol, or were you talking about all police, what scale?
It would be police officers and dispatchers, not sergeants, not investigators. That was the only two she had me adjust, was dispatchers and police officers. On the fire side, it was firemen and fire captains. And the reason you see such a difference there is because right now on our scale, a fireman is a level 22. Let me back up. A police officer on our scale is a level 26. A sergeant on our scale, police sergeant on our scale is a level 30. So like 4 jumps up. In the fire department, our firefighters are a level 22. Our fire captains are a level 23. They're just one step above them. So that is actually putting them kind of up where they should be a little bit closer. But again, that all needs to be really, really looked at again.
Is it realistic to, I mean, we'll surely have another budget meeting next month. Is it reasonable to expect those numbers?
So,
Okay.
yeah. So right now, moving just police is 49,744.
But again, that doesn't talk about sergeants and others. So
Right.
that 49,000, I can promise you will increase.
Will change, yeah.
And then just moving the firemen and the captains is an additional 91,000. So you're up to $140,000 just in
Just
police
police.
officers, dispatchers, firemen, and fire captains. So before we make any moves, I really think we need to really, really look at that.
I love the idea of paying our people, but we're, for layman's terms, we're squeezing blood out of a turnip. So we're gonna have to also make probably some sacrifices. Is that safe to say? As much as I would like to not.
It really does need to be looked at.
I agree.
And we
No,
have
that's-
started. We have got a
I
great,
think
great, great
should be
starting
number one
place.
on our priority list.
Yeah, we've got a great starting place.
Department heads may have to accept, we make the
whatever.
hard decisions that we do pay instead of stuff, so.
Well, we've said it before, you can have all the money in the bank that you want, but if you don't have anybody providing the services, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
On the second page, it says, of course, I know we talked about, we got fire, whatever, but on the next page, it says all other employees.
Okay, so when we talked about making these adjustments, that's moving fire, police and dispatch, fire and captain. And then every other employee would get a 2.8% increase, and that would be an additional 52,000. So it'd be 49, 91, and 52.
And then what's all current employees, 3%?
If we didn't do any of those adjustments and gave all current employees a 3% increase, it would cost us 89,000.
That's police, fire, everybody.
That's just everybody, a 3% increase across the board without making any changes anywhere.
Adjustments.
And that's just kicking the can down.
What we did the last,
I believe it was
2
across the
years.
board last year.
yes, and then the year before was the COLA. Okay.
So we'll try to get that to you in the next 2 weeks. And Because I think everything else, I mean, there's a few things we need to take a look at, you know, everything from grants to looking at, you know, solar and LED lights, things like that. So we've made some notes. We'll take a look at that. And I think the big issue is going to be the pay issue.
And these are decent numbers, that it's starting point numbers. That'll give you an idea of what it's going to cost to do what. It's a good starting point.
Gotcha. And then I know last we also talked about, I think you were supposed to be getting some bids on scanning. Did you do all that? We done with that?
Bids for what?
Scanning in the stuff?
Digitizing
Everything else
files.
scanned in, that the PD has a guy doing his, and then
Oh, the scanning.
Digitizing the files,
Yeah.
paper to.
I did not do that.
we were talking about that with Angie, and you were getting those numbers and
Janet?
getting bids for that.
Yes.
Somebody was getting bids.
I was
okay.
like,
You gotta go.
I got menopause, but it isn't, I don't think it's affecting.
I did reach out, I got multiple quotes, but I kind of paused on that and received the thinking that we were doing a good job internally, so.
And I'm okay with that. I just knew that police had been doing really well, but last I'd heard, I didn't know if the city was still moving forward on their person scanning. Last I'd heard they hadn't scanned in a while, so I'm not sure if we're actively scanning those
There was
files.
a discussion today on that very issue with an individual, so.
Well, I just want to make sure that, because if we need to do it, fine. If we can do it in-house, that's fine. Just needed to know, or ask that question, because I knew it was somebody else's question.
I brought it up previously, and it was just because I toured all of our departments, and I'd seen the same kind of thing going on, just files in a corner, and I'm like, hey, man, look, let's try to maximize, and if we do it in-house, that's awesome. I would much rather do that than pay someone X amount of dollars.
It's not cheap.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
just make sure we were
No,
satisfied that requirement.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang.
Sorry. Sorry, Mickey, I'll give you a heart attack over there.
It's a great starting point, and I'll echo what Jennifer said. I love this format. I just think it was really, really easy to kind of grab a hold of, but I think today was a great day and a good starting point.
Good starting point.
Very good. Thank y'all. Thank
Questions,
everybody for
anybody
pulling
else?
all this together.
This meeting-
Jane, does any department head have anything they want to add, say?
I know Shannon wants to say something.
He does. He's been waiting all day.
That guy cannot stop
We
talking.
can't make him stop
It's
talking.
unbelievable.
No,
This
we're good.
meeting's adjourned.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, y'all.
He's giving me the finger of the cheek.